Hello everyone, my name is Disha Chawla and today I will be explaining what a process is in simple words, different states or stages of processes, and also some related concepts as well. So first let us take a look at what is a process in operating system. A process is a program in execution. When we write source code in C or C++ and compile it, the compiler generates an executable binary file. This executable binary file is called a program. So in simple words, we can say that a process in an operating system simply means a program which is currently running. When we open or run any application, it becomes a process. So let us take a look at very simple examples such as whenever we open Google Chrome, it becomes a process. Whenever we type anything in MS Word, it is a process. So our computer runs many processes at the same time. Also, we can say that a process is an active entity. It has memory, CPU time, input-output resources, and also multiple resources can run simultaneously. So now let us take a look at the attributes of the process. Now when we talk about the attributes of the process, a process has several important attributes that help the operating system manage and control it. These attributes are stored in a structure called the process control block, which is PCB, which is also known as task control block. So let us assume whenever a new process is created, the operating system initializes a process control block, which is PCB for it, and that PCB stores the value of all those parameters associated with that process, and also it also maintains and keeps a track of all the states, the process states as well. Now let us take a look at what all these attributes are. So these attributes are process ID, which is a unique number assigned to each process, and also process state. This shows the current status of the process, like whether it is running, waiting, or ready to execute. Then we have priority and other scheduling information. It is the data that helps the operating system decide which process should run next, like priority levels and pointers to scheduling queues. Now fourth one is input output information. It is all, as the name suggests, information about the input output devices the process is using. And then we have the file descriptors, information about open files and network connections. And the sixth one is accounting information. It basically means it tracks how long the process has run, the amount of CPU time used, and other resource usage data. And then the last attribute is memory management information. Details about the memory space allocated to the process, including where it is loaded in memory and the structure of its memory layout stack. Okay, now let us take a look at CPU scheduling. So basically, CPU scheduling is the process of deciding which process will own the CPU while another process is suspended. The main function of CPU scheduling is to ensure that whenever the CPU remains idle, the operating system has at least selected one of the processes available, so that the CPU does not remain idle and we can have the maximum utilization of the CPU. And also there are various terminologies which are related to CPU scheduling, such as arrival time, completion time, burst time, turnaround time, etc. Also we have waiting time as well. Now there are various different scheduling algorithms. We can classify CPU scheduling algorithms in two types: preemptive and non-preemptive. So some examples of preemptive CPU scheduling algorithms are shortest remaining job first, priority scheduling, round robin scheduling. And examples of non-preemptive CPU scheduling are first come first serve, short job first. So these are different CPU scheduling algorithms. So now let us take a look at what are schedulers. So schedulers are basically components of an operating system that decides which process should be executed by the CPU at a given time. So basically there are three types of schedulers in operating systems, such as short-term schedulers, medium-term, and then the third one is long-term schedulers. Now, what are states of processes in an operating system? So process in an operating system passes through multiple states or stages. We can say that as its begins execution, it also waits for the resources. By the time it gets scheduled, by the time it also runs, and after finishing all the tasks it gets terminated. So these stages describe the complete life cycle of a process. So common types of process state models include 2 state, 5 state and 7 state models. So now let's just talk about the 2 state model. As the name suggests, it has only 2 possible conditions. A process is either actively using the CPU to execute whatever instructions it has, or waiting until it gets a chance to run. This model helps illustrate the basic interaction between a process and a CPU. So as the name suggests, it's a 2 state model. So the 2 states of this model are running, the process running is that state when the process is currently using the CPU for its execution. Not running, as the name suggests, the process is not using the CPU and it may be waiting for the input, waiting for the resources, or simply it's is in a waiting state. So this is the diagram of that 2 state model of a process not running and running, and at last the process is terminated. Now when a new process is created, it starts in not running state. Initially it is a program called it is kept in a program called dispatcher. Now there are these steps in 2 state models, such as not running state, dispatcher role, moving to the running state, CPU scheduler role. Now let us take a look at the 5 state model. It basically expands the basic 2 state idea by separating processes that are simply waiting for a CPU time from those that cannot run because they are waiting for an external event. Now let us take a look at all the 5 states in this 5 state model. So it has 5 steps obviously, and these are new, ready, running, blocked or waiting, and exit and terminate. So let us explain all these steps. So the first step is new. The process has just been created. Whenever we create a process, it's in new state. It hasn't started running yet, but its PCB block is a PCB, which is the process control block, is prepared. Now ready. Now the process is loaded into the memory and prepared to run as soon as the CPU becomes free. Now running state. The CPU is currently executing this process. With a single CPU system, only one process can be in this state at a time. Blocked or waiting state. The process cannot continue execution because it is waiting for an event like input output completion or data input. Exit and terminate. After the process has completed its execution, or it has done its task, it is done with performing its task, and the operating system removes it from the memory. Similarly, we have a 7 state model which has 7 steps, as the name suggests, and these and a process moves through different states as it created, prepared for execution, run for the CPU, waits for resources, or completes. These states help the operating system manage how procedure use memory, CPU, and input-output devices. Thank you.